Ja Morant, ladies and gentlemen. Ja Morant. Big news this weekend. Big things to tap into. We got to get into it. We have to get into it, ladies and gentlemen, because there is no bigger bag fumbler, in my opinion, than Ja Morant. Let me say that one more time for the people in the back. There is no bigger bag fumbler in 2023 than Ja Morant, because we all know that it comes back to the money. We got a lot to cover this weekend. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel, if you have not sent it over into your friends and family in order to have this conversation, then we are going to have a problem. But Ja Morant, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that has been living under a rock, he went live on Instagram, or not even him, his homie went live on Instagram, and they was in the car, whatever. You know, the same homies. Oh, we're going to get into the video shortly. The same homies that he promised Adam Silver. For the ladies that's in the chat, Adam Silver is the commissioner of the NBA. Ja Morant recently signed an extension upwards of close to $300 million that don't even kick in until next year. Powerade sponsorships. Nike deal just dropped the Ja Morant one recently. Right? Was suspended last year, promised Adam Silver he going to do things differently, even sat down with Jalen Rose and said, you know what, I got to get my mind together and all of this other type of stuff. We reviewed it. We reviewed it right here on the Millionaire Morning Show. And what does he do? His homeboy is on Instagram Live. They all in the car. They making it rain. They doing what they do. Yeah. Listen, I don't even understand the logic of hanging out with a bunch of dudes in a car with their music blast real. I like to ride by myself or with a honey. I don't want to be in the car with a bunch of dudes. I want to be in the car with a honey. Something nice, pretty, with their legs and they dress up a little bit. We not jumping all around. We chilling. We might put a little bit of Drizzy Drake on. Who knows? Sade. Ain't nobody trying to be in a car like this with a bunch of dudes. You got a bunch of money, unlimited resources. Either you in the gym shooting or you sitting with you a nice honey and you chilling. And this whole fool, not a half a fool, but a whole fool, pulls out a pistol in the middle of them jumping around in the car. And even a homeboy was smart enough to try to get his phone back down. Jesus, what you doing, Ja? What you doing, Ja? Okay, all right. Let's get into it. I want to go ahead and go over to ESPN and Adrian Wojnarowski. It's so unfortunate. It's genuinely unfortunate what it is that we're witnessing right now, ladies and gentlemen. Again, make sure you buckle up. Put on your seatbelts. It's going to be an incredible show today. Make sure you tell your family and friends. Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. And if you have not subscribed to the Patreon, link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into this Ja Morant conversation. And we're going to play things out and we're going to react to this video. Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, ladies and gentlemen. We got a whole nother setup going on here. We taking things up on the Millionaire Morning Show. They can't fuck with us. They can't fuck with us. They thought we was down, but we just going to continue to run that bag up. You know what I'm saying? You know, hold on. They said that they could fuck with us. Did they believe that? Did they believe that they could fuck with us? They didn't really believe that. Let's get it in, ladies and gentlemen.
It is not clear when the video was taken. The Grizzlies released a statement this morning. You see it here. We are aware of the social media video involving Ja Morant. He is suspended from all team activities pending league review. We have no further comment at this time. All right, our senior insider, Adrian Wojnarowski, is here. And, of course, you have been on the phone all day long with practically everyone, I'm sure, around the league. What are the things that you can tell our audience that we don't yet know?
Greeny, Ja Morant is facing the very real possibility of a suspension, a lengthy suspension, to start next season after this latest incident with he and an apparent firearm in his possession. This is
So the first thing that we have to ask ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Now, why would you put yourself in this position in the first place? we asking ourselves the wrong question. We're asking ourselves the wrong question. Why would you put yourself in this position in the first place? Don't worry about it. We gonna get there.
Twice in 2 months now. The league suspended him for 8 games, really 2 of them retroactive to really just 2 games earlier this season. I sense already today that Adam Silver is going to feel increasing pressure from other teams in the league who see this as much as it impacts the Grizzlies, that it impacts them and their ability to market their players and their teams. I think there was a sense with that 8-game suspension earlier and during last season, and that Adam Silver showed some restraint in that edict with Ja Morant, took him at his word that he would make better decisions. They met in the league headquarters. Now, the league's investigating. They're still going now to make sure that this was a legitimate video, that it wasn't.
So, the thing about the NBA and the thing about any great organization that y'all have to understand is that they're going to do their due diligence. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They have to go in and make sure that there's no deep fakes, that somebody didn't, this is not a pre-recorded video from a long time ago. Organizations, they do their due diligence because they have to make sure that they're going about handling this the right way. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies have already suspended Ja Morant. They have already said, listen, we don't care how bad Ja Morant is making out Adam Silver look. And here's the key. Here's the funniest thing. The funniest thing of the whole situation, right, is that this is the thing that we see black people complain about the most. When I had this conversation on Fight Club, when I was sitting there listening to people observing what it is that they said about this whole situation, right? You know the biggest thing that they kept saying? It's all because he a black man. He a black man. Now, the thing about it is that he sat down with Adam Silver, which is one of the reasons why his initial suspension, and I'm going to be reading Super Chat shortly. Thank you to everybody that's supporting the show. His initial suspension was actually limited to only 8 games in which he lost the equivalent of over $600,000 as a result of it. Talk about a bag fumble, right? But then there are some people that'll say, well, it's not really that big of a deal because it's only $600,000. He literally just signed an extension that don't even kick in next year until to be up at over $300 million close to, right? Here's the funny thing. That $600,000 wasn't really $600,000. It was the potential to be equivalent of over what? $36 million. Well, Anton, how did you come to that $36 million? Well, first, I'm a bag chaser. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. But the other reason why it's close to that number is because then the media and the pundits didn't vote him all NBA first team. Now, what is all NBA first team for all of my ladies that's in the chat and things like that? Well, what it is that there's incentives that are inside of these contracts. How many all-star games you make, how many playoff games you win, or if you can take your team to the playoffs, if you're on good behavior and you don't get caught up in nothing and you don't get suspended or anything like that. If you make all NBA, if you make all NBA first team, second team, defensive player of the year and all of that other type of stuff, there's bonuses to be made. Remember when I told y'all inside of corporate America, it don't just happen inside of corporate America. It happens in every single sport, entertainment, so on and so forth. And what happens is you largely don't work just for the contract. You work for the bonuses. So because he missed that designation, because he couldn't keep himself out of the club or he couldn't stop grabbing pistols and putting them on camera and all of this other type of stuff, as a result, he lost upwards of close to $40 million just because he did not make, which he was on track to be, because he did not make all NBA. Can you imagine the possibility that all you had to do was chill out, go home, be quiet, bust down something, shoot in the gym and all of that other type of stuff, and then as a result, you lose close to upwards of almost $40 million just because you couldn't keep your mouth shut and you want to hang with your homies? What kind of homies is these? If I'm his homie, I'm going to be like, yo, fam, listen. Listen, if I'm his homie, this is what I'm going to say. Fam, I'm your homie, and as a result of it, I can't let you come with us today. That's what real friends do. Real friends will have you mad at them, but they're not going to let you fumble the bag. Hey, look, bro, I know it's fun. I know we can hang out and stuff like that. But as a result, we can't really kick it with like that today because, bro, you got a lot on the line right now. You shouldn't even be on IG Live right now, big dog. Let's continue.
Doctored in some way. But I think there is a real possibility, if that is what it appeared to be, a weapon in Ja Morant's hand, he again is going to likely face a significant suspension to start next season. The commissioner has pretty wide-ranging latitude in terms of best interests of the league, conduct detrimental to the NBA, to suspend Ja Morant without pay for a significant period to start the season.
All right, we will keep a close eye on that, obviously.
Let's move forward. I want to get what Stephen A. Smith's perspective is. I want to get Jalen Rose's perspective. And then we're going to continue to go through this because there's a lot to mine through here today. And this isn't even about Ja Morant. This is about what it is that we celebrate the most as a community, our culture. One of the reasons why he got caught up in the culture. And then more importantly, this is also about bag fumbling because we know it always comes back to the money. Let's move forward, ladies and gentlemen.
Today, Stephen A., I will start with you.
It's really hard to put this into words, but I'm going to try. As you know, I'm a Knicks fan, and we've talked about R.J. Barrett. Between Zion Williamson's body and Ja Morant's stupidity, R.J. Barrett might end up being the best pick. You know, when you look at some of the things that has transpired, Ja Morant has already been suspended for 8 games, cost himself forfeited over $600,000. You know what the biggest issue here is? It's self-inflicted.
That is it right there. That's it right there. The biggest issue with this whole thing is that it's self-inflicted. Nobody did it to him. Nobody did it for him. Nobody put a gun to his head and told him that he had to do it. Nobody took him out to the club. All you had to do was go home. They're paying you to stay out of trouble and then put a basketball inside of the hoop. That's it. You ain't got to do nothing but show up. Hoop, be quiet, stay out the way, jump the fuck out the gym, train, be fit, and not get no trouble. Nobody told you to bring the hood with you. You ain't got to wear no chains. You ain't got to color your hair. You ain't got to do nothing. All you have to do is be quiet. Listen. At the end of the day, this is entertainment. What they do on the basketball court, it's entertainment. What I'm doing right here, even though I may be adding some value in a lot of the conversations that we have on a regular basis, it's entertainment. It's entertainment. And let me tell you what my main priority is as a person that is on a much lower level than Ja Morant. You know what my main priority is? It's not even catching the bag because we got the bag now. And that's the worst part about it. I'm going to be reading Super Chat shortly. Shout out to Bruiser. That's the worst part about this whole conversation is that it's not even about getting the bag. It's when you got the bag, the only thing you got to do is not fumble the bag. The only thing you got to do is prevent them from finding a reason to be able to take the bag away from you. My main goal as an entertainer is to not put myself in a position to where somebody else can mess up my bag. That is it. Once you get the bag, the goal is to protect the bag. I don't hang out with no pookies. Let me tell you something, and this is the fact. Anybody that been to the Lapeef meetup when we did it in Houston, when we did it in Atlanta, you know this is a fact. I was there early, right, for the show. I go, I perform, I do what I do. I do meet and greets. I talk to every single person that's inside of the audience. I give them more than whatever it is that they paid for as far as coming up to kick it. They was like, yo, we about to go hang out. We about to go party. We about to go to the after party. They was on Instagram. You know who wasn't there? Do you know who was not at the after party at any Lapeith event? They said, Anton, listen, we about to go to the after party at this and we going to that. You know who wasn't there? You know where I was at? In my hotel room, packing my bags, getting my stuff set up for tomorrow because I knew that I had the live stream, and I was on the first fucking flight smoking out of that mug. 6 a.m., I was on the first flight home. I was on the first flight home, 6 a.m. That's a fact. That is a 100. Man, the goal is to protect the bag because he already got the bag. What are we talking about? Listen, you could say a lot of things about me. You could say you don't like me. You could say you don't like the way that I talk, that I hold women accountable, that I'm not for reparations. You can say a lot of things, but the one thing that you can't say is that I'm going to do a self-inflicted wound in order to miss out on the bag. You can throw away all of the talking points and say, listen, I hate Anton. I don't like him. I don't like his talking points. He mean to me, whatever it is that you want to say. But when you come here, you know that I'm going to show you how to get and protect your bag. End of discussion. At the end of the day, that's the one thing that we all got in common is that we all trying to get that bag. And when you get it, you don't fumble it. You worked your whole life for it. Self-inflicted wounds.
It was
Unreal.
his Instagram post that exposed the initial situation with him holding a gun that got him suspended. Now, with this latest video, it's somebody that he's with deciding to go on Instagram Live. This is not TMZ or somebody finding out something and digging it from. It's self-inflicted. And I'm just imagining, because I remember speaking to Draymond Green on his podcast earlier this year, and one of the things he raved about when he talked about Ja Morant, he said Ja Morant is one of the most intelligent players in the game and one of the most intelligent athletes you will ever find. So if we want to eradicate the word stupidity, then we have to go to something deeper. There's got to be a problem here. Now, whether it's with the company you keep or other things that you're doing that lead to you making these foolish, idiotic decisions, there is no question. There's a problem somewhere.
I would do you one better, Stephen. If you actually look at the video, this is what we know for sure. Ja Morant is the idiot. Ja Morant is the idiot. It's not his friends. Y'all think that it's his friends. Y'all keep trying to hold his friends accountable, and the only reason y'all saying it is because he's the one that got the bag. If you look at the video, his friends are literally trying to save him from himself when he pulls out the pistol. The friend tried to take the phone and say, "Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus." I would submit to you that it's not his friends, it's him. It's him. You know the funniest thing? That I don't want to show the video right now because I don't want this video to then get censored because it is a pistol in the video, right? But here's the thing. Y'all can go and watch it on your own time after the Millionaire Morning Show. You know what the weirdest thing is for me when I see something like this happening, or not even when I see something like this happening. When I see NBA players, whether I see them on the TV or whether I meet them in person, the funniest thing to me, honestly, is when I see their lips be black because they smoke too much weed. Let me listen. When I see these guys lips black because they smoke too much weed, it's the wildest thing in the world to me. And the reason why it's the wildest thing in the world to me is not whether or not it's legal. It's not whether or not they can do it. It's like, why would you put yourself in a position to where they would question whether or not you're good for the brand and all of the potential bags that you miss out on in the first place? Why would you put yourself in a position to then have to drug test negative? Why would you even give anybody any shadow of a doubt as to why they should do business with you? Marcus X says, I called Cap on a friend's Anton. He knew Ja was riding around with a gun in your car and dancing loud music, so his friends are just as insane. No. You know why his friends is not as insane? You know why his friends is not as insane? Because his friends don't have anything to lose. See, it's still on the responsibility of you. It's the responsibility of you to do the thing that is in your own best interest. Nobody cares about your friends. Listen, somebody tell me what the name of one of Ja's friends are. Tell me how much money they lost as a result of Ja getting suspended. Tell me. Somebody tell me. And this is why LeBron James, regardless of how I feel about his politics, regardless of how I feel about what it is that he stands for when it comes to the black community and all of this other type of stuff, because I think he be playing on y'all with that. LeBron James is the greatest player of all time. And I don't look at it from the metrics or my personal favorite NBA player of all time is actually Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But remove the actual basketball play. The dude is stellar. He did what Kobe was supposed to do and couldn't do when he was alive. Ain't no smut on his name. He did what Jordan was supposed to do when he was. See, a lot of people are now forgetting because they wasn't really outside when Jordan was around, but Jordan was a heavy gambler and father got killed, and then the league allegedly made him step away from the game in order to be able to clear his name up a little bit, and then he had to come back and all of that other type of stuff, and then he wound up getting divorced, and always, they alleged that he invested in the prison industrial system and all of that other type of stuff. No. Jordan had smears on his name with regard to the possibility of even being questioned as a person that is supposed to be the GOAT. Kobe. They was absolutely wrong. I do not believe for 1 second that he did anything with that white girl that had multiple pieces of semen from different people inside her panties. But the idea that he took a chance while he was supposed to be preparing and putting himself in a position to compete against the 2004 Pistons for an NBA championship even had to be suspended and removed in the first place because he was the golden child. Tiger Woods can't keep his hand off the hose in order to keep his money in his pocket. Today, right now, there is a lawsuit in court with Tiger Woods' name on it from a hoe that is trying to sue him and take half of his assets because this dude can't pick right to save his life. Everything you do when you start to get the bag and you get visibility is a business decision. Everything. The people that you associate with, the chicks that you rock with, the people you surround yourself with, if you decide to have friends, if somebody is doing something that's not aligned with where it is that you're going in your life, cut them off. Cut them off. Because it's not about right or wrong. It's putting yourself in a position to where you don't fumble the bag. Everything about LeBron is stellar. Everything about LeBron is stellar. His friends, stellar. Wife, stellar. Kids, stellar. Business practices. The only thing you can possibly criticize is if you're comparing him to Jordan on the court. Outside of that, you don't put yourself in the position to fumble the bag ever. Listen, especially when you worked your whole life to get it, you there, you got it, and now you're going to tell me you're going to be in a position for them to be able to take it? All because you can't do something that you were supposed to do? Okay, stop carrying guns with you on camera. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? All you got to do is go home, live in your multi-million-dollar mansion, and go to work, bro. Hustle, grind, get in the gym, shoot the shot. Yo, you in the off season. You supposed to be in Cabo. What is you doing in your homeboy's car? What are you doing in your homeboy's car? I predict this. This is my prediction. I predict that this is not the end. We will see Ja Morant. He will, in my opinion, and this is just my prediction. I could be absolutely wrong. I hope that I'm wrong. But I believe that Ja Morant will absolutely, positively will be one of the biggest bag fumblers by the end of this conversation. By the end of his career, we not going to be sitting here talking about how great Ja was. We going to talk about how much of an idiot he was to fumble the bag. That's what I believe. I genuinely believe that in my heart.